Alright, hello everyone, welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. First of all, it's National Veterans Day. So to everyone that's a veteran in the US, thank you so much for your daunting sacrifice, your real service that kept us free, and you're brave. You're actually the real brave people of this world, not me for waking up in the morning at 7 to go to school when it's cold outside. That's not brave, that's just normal. So I appreciate all the service members. I do have family members that are in the military, so they're not veterans yet. So retire, man. Retire and be veterans so I can thank you for your service. Nah, but seriously, let's get into this video. Hansi Flick's Bayern Munich tactics. They're basically evolving. The reason why I say that word specifically is because actually, to be honest, we always evolve. We always get better, especially if you have different games, especially when different opponents pose different threats. You have to evolve. That's how it works. I mean, for everyone in the military, speaking of it, speaking of the military, they're always evolving. I'm sure there are things that exist now that wouldn't have been a thing 50 years ago. So, yeah, evolve. So, Flick's tactics are evolving. That's mainly a byproduct of the fact that there are 2 games, sometimes even 3 games in 1 week. You're playing so many games so congested together that you have to almost adapt, especially when you're an intense team. You like to press, you like to outnumber the guys in the midfield and make sure you keep a very high intensity. But of course, you can't do that for 180 minutes every 4 days. That's just not possible. You can't possibly demand that from your players. So Flick is definitely changing things. I'm seeing some evolutions, man. Hansi's improving. I think one of the first real concerns I had about Hansi Flick was, well, actually, I don't even think anyone was thinking he'd be full-time manager at the time, right? That was when we played Gladbach and we lost the game. And I think in that game, which is ironic, we lost the game, but I learned a lot from Hansi Flick's temperament and character as a manager. Now, not Julian Nagelsmann, Marco Rose is a manager I like a lot. He manages Gladbach, and I think he'll be at a big club soon. He absolutely outplayed bald Zidane. Zidane's balding as we speak every time he thinks about Marco Rose. And Marco Rose is a very versatile manager, one of those new breed of German coaches. He's just a wholesome guy. He understands how to communicate with his players, and the most especially, he's a very good tactician. So in that game, I was thinking to myself, well, damn, Gladbach are going to go with their 4-4-2 diamond. This system definitely would suffocate essentially any team because the way they press, they don't necessarily keep a high press at all times. They just catch you out. They literally keep this exact same shape, man. I'm telling you, it's so annoying. Their midfielders on occasions look like wingers when they press and come outside. Diamond formations are very dangerous in the press because of the central overload. It's very hard to outmaneuver your opposition when they have about 5 players in the midfield. I believe Kimmich played right back that game and Alphonso Davies was a left back. But what Flick did so well, he had Lewandowski dropping into pockets, trying to draw their lines. He would have Lucas Hernandez hugging the touchline and Kimmich, or not Lucas, well, Davies and Kimmich hugging the touchline like this. And it was so beautiful. Now, of course, Goretzka would come out, drop to the midfield a lot. But this game was beautiful. The reason, like I said, is because Flick really got to show his tactical brilliance. There was so many occasions where Goretzka would be in between the lines actually, right? And then it'd be like Muller up top, occupying the strikers, or in between the lines. And Goretzka would pick up the ball here and combine. It was such a freaking great game. That was so tactical. I loved that game. Even though we lost, I loved it. We lost last minute. It would have been the best 1-1 draw in a long time. So I guess I described that Gladbach game as a real tactical revolution from Flick, because it really got to show me that this guy's about it. He understands the game, not just from hug your players, make them feel good, but from a real, he can get down to that, to the genius, okay? He's Albert Einstein when it comes to drawing up those match plans. So that was so good. But this season, of course, like I said, tiredness is a huge factor if you win the league or not. or if you do well in any competition, despite the fact that some competitions have more of a motivating factor than others, like the Champions League, for example. But a huge thing right now is, can you conserve your energy? Not just for the next game, but can you spread out your energy enough for it to make sense? For example, we beat Salzburg 6-2. No one beat Salzburg 6-2 like that, right? We beat them in a way where we scored the most goals in the last 15 minutes of any Champions League game ever. That's crazy. You broke a record. That just shows you how energy works. Now, the weird thing is, it wasn't just a tactical thing. He actually took players off. So that was really down to the players. But I think it had a lot to do with the conservation of the energy we had throughout the game. I'd say last season, right? Under Flick, of course, not Kovac. So we do a lot of the playing in between the lines. That's our game, right? You'll have a midfielder drop in, fullbacks go up. This is very, very, very like normal, right? This is such a normal way we play. And then your wingers are tucked in. You're moving the ball side to side like the Cupid shuffle. To the right, dan, dan. Okay, and that's essentially it. But for me, I'm starting to see more and more of just keeping the game just relaxed. And that, ironically enough, that was Kimmich's job. Just relax things, right? And sometimes you'll just see Niklas Süle take the ball, pass back to Goretzka, and it would happen a lot. I also think one of the big factors of having more energy is you're more creative. Sané's coming off the bench and scoring and assisting. He's playing very well off the bench. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say, well, don't start him because he's more creative, because he has more energy than the people that started. I'm trying to say it will make a lot of sense to start benching some players, like you did with Lewandowski, except you gave him a rest, so it wasn't really benching. Who benches Lewandowski? Who dares benches the Polish marksman? But you don't bench players, right? You just give them a rest. That's pretty much how we classify it. So for me, I feel like that's a huge thing this season that we're doing. I also thought one of the biggest things we are doing, we use our minutes more. This is what I wanted. Okay, this is all I ever wanted from Bayern. Thank you so much to Hansi Flick for making it happen, okay? I see all these teams score all these goals in like 5 seconds. We never really managed our minutes like that. And now they're getting better and better as the weeks persist. Why? Because Bayern Munich and the players are starting to realize at what moments in the game, in the half, in whatever micro factor you want to think of it, what time do we change our energy? Do we change our gear? Against Dortmund in the Super Cup final, it wasn't Dortmund, Schalke, 8-0. You have to understand how that game played out. Essentially, I saw a lot of this, right? It was literally Müller and Lewandowski feeding. Well, not feeding, but Sané and Gnabry were essentially strikers. And it was so cool and incredibly weird at the same time. And Kimmich would literally be there just feeding these two. Kimmich fed Sané through the middle. The counterattacks were beautiful. And again, those counterattacks. But in that game, people didn't really realize too much. We tried very hard to conserve energy. Except Schalke were just so crap. We had to pick them apart. It was so beautiful. I think the Champions League campaign helped us out a lot with this. And we're seeing Lewandowski pick up more assists because we're actually playing a little bit more with the ball. That doesn't mean we're passing the ball at the back more. It means we're using the ball more. I mean, I don't remember what game it was, but our passes were so off. I think it might have been Cologne, Perfume FC. Our passes were very off in that game, especially in the second half. And we made it very hard and very technical for no reason. And that was irritating for me. They had our midfielders turning like crazy. Their midfielder turned into Thiago Alcantara like he was some Andres Iniesta. It was a little bit annoying. But you're starting to see more of those just relaxed games. Sometimes Lewandowski's on the ball. He's just carrying it. And then we attack when we want to. Because one of the best things about us is that we're clinical. Against Dortmund, they had a 2.52 expected goal. We had 1.5 or something. Guess who won the game? We're clinical. It doesn't matter how good your chances were because they were never good if you didn't take them. Now, actually, no. it could also mean you missed them. So I like that a lot. That just shows the tactical evolution. We're getting so good in our own system that we're essentially just relaxed. We almost know we're going to score. For example, the Kimmich goal against Lokomotiv Moscow. That was a beautiful goal, but that goal happens a lot. Except we don't notice it. Not the same goal like crazy sexy volley to the floor to the far post. That's not what I mean. I mean that same pattern happens. It didn't happen a lot in the Lokomotiv Moscow game, but the one time it did, we scored. It was just Javi Martinez in between the lines. Let's put Kimmich here and let's put Muller up top. I don't know. Kimmich gets the ball, turns, shoots. That happens a lot for us. We always pass the ball in between the lines. I'm really loving our versatility, but most importantly, our tactical versatility, because it's helping us a lot, especially coping with the overindulgence of games from UEFA's hungry mouths, man. Goodness gracious, they're hungry. There are international games all over the place all the time, for no reason, by the way. So, yeah, I think this is it for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. This is just my little Hansi Flick evolving video, but yeah, I enjoyed this, man. Thank you all so much for watching. Mia Shan Mia, and peace.